And let me tell you this for those that think Chicky is not a tough guy. All right. A few years ago, myself, Chicky, I think Damien, Brian Hoyle, Steve Dunn, Lord Willen, Seth Nicoletti, there was a whole bunch of us at a bar in Queens. And I think it was either the end of day one of shooting or it was like the night before. I think it was at the end of day one. I can't remember which day, but in any event, we're at the bar that we were also shooting a very pivotal scene at. We're all inside drinking, just talking, and somebody related to somebody who owned the bar. Obviously, it had a little bit too much to drink and decided he wanted to run his fucking mouth at me. So Chicky and I went outside. We were smoking cigars, laughing about life, just normal stuff. This guy comes outside, just starts running his mouth at me for no reason. It might have been his shitty marriage to his wife that was ending. Maybe it was the attention she was giving all the guys in there. I just don't know. But the guy just started running his mouth outside for no fucking reason. I looked at Chicky. Chicky looks at me, and Chicky looks right at me and says, "Jeff, don't utter a word," because he knew I was getting to the point where I was going to react. And he also, I think, knew that if anything happened, 7 guys were going to come out that bar and the guy was going to get beat within an inch of his fucking life. And so after 5 minutes of this guy running his mouth, Chicky finally turns to his right, cigar in hand, and tells the guy, "Look, we're not looking for an issue. We're just here hanging out. We're shooting a movie." And the guy didn't want to hear it and just started mouthing off even more. And Chicky finally looked at the guy and said, "Hey, pal, leave us the fuck alone. This guy to my left is a stand-up guy with a lot of friends here and in New England. And unless you want a serious fucking problem, go the fuck away." The guy got mad and basically asked Chicky or what. Chicky laughed at him and said, "Well, there's like 10 of us here. You're in a no-win situation, pal. Walk away. Walk the fuck away." And the guy wasn't budging, and Chicky got up, I got up, and then the guy's wife came out and basically forced him to leave the area because she knew he was about to get the shit kicked out of him. Chicky didn't have to do that. He didn't have to defend me or anybody, but he did. And he wasn't playing around with the guy either. And the worst part for this poor bastard really wasn't me or Chicky, but it was the other guys inside, Steve Dunn and Damian Trites. They're pro MMA guys who have zero tolerance for anybody that thinks they're going to run their fucking mouths. So this idea that Chicky's some sort of pussy just isn't accurate. And there's another story I could tell, but I really can't. And I can't regurgitate it here, but Chicky has never backed down from anything in his fucking life. Springfield guys are not wound that way. Springfield guys are the type of guys that they act first and worry about the consequences later. That's just how they are. All right, just so everybody understands for just a second. Me and this piece of shit on the screen used to be friends, okay? And one of the continual things that I keep seeing is people saying, "Oh, you're a friend. You used to be a friend." Listen, people start as friends and end as enemies, and that's just the truth. Now, what happened? So here's my point: the rat shit, the rat comments. He calls me a rat and a junkie. I'm neither one of those things. Okay, those are facts. I'm not even married or in a relationship with anybody that did either one of those things. All right, so let's get really clear here. This idea of having a stance, this idea of rats, it's laughable, especially when it comes to Joey. In fact, it's one of the most laughable, hypocritical things I've ever seen in my life. Number one, everybody's a rat according to this guy. Everybody, right? But the fact is, some of those that, he does discuss are in fact informants. No argument with that. However, he's actually married to a rat. And he talks on the phone to rats. Dominic Sicali said he had a conversation with him in text. What is Joey Merlino doing talking to an informant? Okay, so we're going to catalog this the right way. Number one, and I want you guys to answer yes or no after this little thing I go on. Mob bosses don't go on MobTube. Mob bosses do not talk to the FBI. Mob bosses do not greenlight anybody from their crime family sitting down with the feds. Mob bosses do not speak with informants in any way on the phone. Mob bosses do not do podcasts and admit to being a gangster. Mob bosses do not allow fringe associates to call the press. These are all things Joey has done and continues to fucking do. These are all things he does. Does that make, and that's my point. These are all the things that he has done. And people that like him like to cherry pick this. These are all things no other guy has ever done in organized crime. His own men have been seen with 3 different informants on the Jersey Shore 2 summers ago. Photos were taken. I have them. These are all things that he knew about. Okay. Number 1, here's what you ought to do. I want you to go to DJ Vlad where he does admit to it. That's number 1. Number 2, he was a mob boss until he got shelved. Okay, so don't come in here with your bullshit shenanigans. No such thing as the mafia. We're not playing that fucking 3-year-old fucking bullshit in this show. Okay, those are just facts, whether you like them or not. Why don't you go blow them since you like them so much? You're his type. You're his type. He likes guys. We'll get into that too. So here's the point. The fact is, on his show, he sits next to a fucking rat, and he knows it. Little Snuff? Yup. See, the thing that Little Snuff doesn't like to tell anybody is that he gave information to cops about drug dealers on the sly. And I have people that are willing to come forward on this show and talk about it. And so I'm going to tell you something, little sniffy. Do yourself a fucking favor with your little bitch tits before I bring on more than one person to verify you giving information to detectives. These are all things that they don't know, but for some inexplicable reason, they ignore it as if it doesn't exist. Joe, does your wife know about the 2 broads you cheated on her with? Does she know about that? Would you like me to bring them on my show? I warned you to stop fucking with me. You fucking bitch, because that's what you are, a fucking short little fat junky bitch. That's all you're ever going to be. So I can bring the 2 broads on, let them tell their story, see how your wife likes that. You want me to bring them on? Just let me know. Drug-free? You sure about that, fat kid? You sure you're drug-free? Boy, do I have some guests that want to come on and talk about you. So this is your warning. Either shut the fuck up and keep it moving, or I'll bring these people on. And you're not going to get past what they say. I just talk about the art theft. 2 meetings were held with the FBI. There was one meeting in New England, and the other meeting was in Miami. One of those paintings was actually, like I said, pushed through Philadelphia on the black market. And Joey was pissed off he didn't get a kickback. And what is known is 2 things certifiable that I know for sure. One of those meetings, it's been alleged that Joey actually sat with the FBI. A retired FBI agent stated on the record that Joey sanctioned the meeting between the Philadelphia Mafia and the FBI. 2 stories, 2 scenarios. Either way, you have a mob boss meeting with the FBI once, and then he greenlights his own hierarchical members to sit down with them a second fucking time. What do you call that? And if you think I'm lying, fine. And the point is, everything that he barks about, he doesn't stand for. Ask Dominic Sakawi. Joey contacted him. I think it was via text or Instagram, whatever. I could be getting wrong, like what the platform was. So all of this rat shit, he is surrounded by them, deals with them on a daily basis. Rats only bother Joey externally, not internally. Everybody knows I knew John A. Light. Let's get real. Let's get real about one thing. Yes, I was around John A. Light. Okay? But here's the thing. He acts like he didn't know that. He knew, everybody knew. They used to bust my balls constantly. So here's the thing. I don't give a fuck about Joey. He can say what he wants, but he's a fucking hypocrite and a liar. Nothing that comes out of his mouth is listen. And I got to be careful how I phrase this. Listen, guys, I am in no position to tell anybody what to do. Okay. He calls John Gotti Jr. a fucking rat. But the guy's own wife testified against somebody in federal court. Do you ever think John Gotti Jr. would allow anybody in his family to ever fucking take the stand against another human being? Fuck no. Because that's the difference between a fucking man's man and a piece of shit, low life, junkie, coke snorting, fucking sniff tit, juggling fuck. And that's just the truth. And believe me, there is something that I wish I could tell you guys, but I can't. I just can't because you guys would say, oh, look at him. He's bringing up this. Now he's snitching. I'm just not going to do it. But there is something that if I told you would change your whole fucking viewpoint on this piece of shit. Because that's what he is, a piece of shit, a low life, degenerate fuck. And if you're going to call me a junkie and you're going to call me a rat, you need to do two things. Prove it, prove it. You can't because it doesn't exist. I don't do drugs and I never dime nobody out, never testified against anybody in my fucking life. Those are facts. Because let me give you guys a little bit of a secret. If you're going to testify against somebody, guess what? You get underneath charges. You don't take the full brunt. I took the full brunt. So fuck you.